Hello and welcome to my channel. I'm so excited to be joining in the high-end for cheap collab today. This is hosted by Janny and Dyanne from DECO Easy and Kiki from KIKI'S DIY. More about that later. For DIY number 1, I will be duping an anthropology item. This is a ceramic double-footed riser and it retails for $68. I'm going to make it for $2. I'm using this foam wreath form from Dollar Tree and one of their clear glass plates, and I will be painting both of those white. Now I have one of the plates that I've previously spray painted and it's kind of yellowed with time, so I'm going to give it a coat of white Waverly chalk paint. I'll also be using that same paint on the wreath form. For the plate, I'm just covering the back and brightening it back up. With this wreath form, it's more porous in some areas, so you will have to go back and touch up here and there after it dries. Now I get to use this toy. I don't get to use this nearly enough. It's a 3-in-1 hot wire foam cutter, and it cuts through this styrofoam like butter. The first one was a little rough because I got cut through and I was like, what do I do now? But the second one went very smoothly. You have to kind of move it across the item like a knife, like so. Next thing I did was glue those two halves on the bottom of the plate. Now after looking at this, when I finished it, I thought it could have been bigger to be more like the inspiration piece. I think maybe a charger from Dollar Tree would work well. What do you think? There it is with a few decor items, and I think I got pretty close to that inspiration piece. I am so honored to have been chosen to collab with all these fabulous ladies. If you don't know any of them, please check them out and subscribe. We each have our own style of DIYs, and I know you'll enjoy each and every one of them. I've left links to all their channels and a link for this playlist below. Now let's get into DIY number 2, which is inspired by Joss and Main TBH. I've been eyeing this for a while. It's a beautiful sculpture. Well, I think it's beautiful. And it's so popular that it's sold out. This normally retails for $64. It's on sale for $55 if you can get one. And I will be making mine for $0. Yes, you heard me right. I'm going to take some beads, some wood beads that I've previously used, and I'm going to recolor them. I need 18 beads, 9 on each side. What I'm doing is just putting them in my paint shaker, add some black paint by Apple Barrel, make sure that lid is on tight, and then I shaky till everything is coated. Shake it this way, shake it that way, la 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 la, shake, shake. And when you take the lid off, it looks like, ba-bam, they're painted. How easy was that? Next, I get a skewer, which is not so easy to pick them out, but it's kind of fun. I mean, it's kind of like a game to try to get the skewer into the hole just right and get several on that skewer. So what I did is, once I got several on there, I made sure they were spaced out so they wouldn't stick to each other. Then I grabbed some styrofoam pieces that were packing in something and propped them up until they got dry. Now for the stand. I'm using a scrap piece of wood that's 1x6, I think. A dowel out of an old flag that the flag didn't make it. And now I'm going to measure the dowel to 5 inches using my miter box and saw. Snap that right off. And then using a tiny drill bit, I'm going to drill a little hole at the end of that dowel. Now for the block of wood, I'm just going to make an X going corner to corner with my pencil to find the center. Once I had that, I used a drill bit and drilled down about halfway through that wood. I don't want to go all the way through. I just want it enough that the dowel can go in with some glue and be permanent. Now, these are suspension sealing hanging wires. This is more bang for your buck. 10 gauge wire, you get 24 of these pieces for about $4. And I'm going to string up those wood beads onto that wire. I should have waited for a few minutes because I've still got to put the dowel on there. Duh. Anyway, this is how it's going to look, kind of rounded up. I'll do a better job rounding it before I display it. So I had to take half of those beads off and get that dowel on there, put the beads back on, and then it seemed to need a little bit more sturdiness. So with some excess wire that I cut off one end, I'm just going to slide that back through those beads and the dowel, giving it double strength. Now that I've got everything together, I'm going to push them down on that dowel, make sure they're nice and tight to each other, and snip the extra wire off. This will be on the back, so you don't have to worry about painting it unless you think someone's going to see the back side. Now here I'm using a bowl, just pressing those beads against the bowl to get my round shape. And it's looking like that. Now I've got to paint the dowel and the wood block for the stand, and I'm going to be using the excess paint out of that shaker. Waste not, want not. Even though it costs 50 cents, why waste it? I did one coat, which was plenty, and went all over both sides of the dowel and the top and all the sides of that board. Okay, I forgot that I was going to have to glue the dowel to the beads on each side. So luckily I still had a little bit of that wire so I could spread it apart and put some glue in there. And I wanted to keep this all at the back because this really is a piece that I wanted to leave up in my home because it reminds me of a Taurus astrology sign, which I am. But yeah, it didn't come together for me. It still looks nice, but it's not what I had imagined. But you know the old saying, if it's not working, if it ain't selling, put a bird on it. For DIY number 3, it's a quickie from Pottery Barn. I've been collecting some olive branches, wanting to make one of these olive trees that retail from, well, more than I can afford. Anyway, I'm not going to be able to do that today, but I am going to be able to do this one. For $39.50, they're selling olive branches in a jug. Okay, I've got a jug. You may have seen it recently in a Trash to Treasure video. I've got an olive branch from Walmart that costs $3. And then I also have 3 of the olive branches from Dollar General that cost $1 each. So put it all together, and instead of paying $39.50 for an arrangement, I made it for $6. Yes, I did. Remember to check out that playlist. It's easy. Just click on the link in the descriptions below. And thank you so much for watching my video today. Until next time, bye-bye.